what do you think the most important skill is for an entrepreneur in order to be successful? I've thought about this a lot lately.
Yeah, I would say have daddy issues.
Why?
I'd say have daddy issues. Number one, I think have dad issues because you want to prove yourself. So it doesn't have to be a dad issue. I'll tell you the thing I think is the most important skill, or I'll give you two. But I think the people that have had some chips on their shoulder and have something to prove is definitely excelled because they've like, I've got to get through this hard part. And I wanted my dad to acknowledge me because I felt like I didn't get enough attention when I was younger. And then as I started making money, I thought that would get the attention. It didn't. And so eventually you have to like yourself and things like that. But I definitely think having some levels of that, like Steve Jobs was adopted. I think that definitely impacted a little bit of his success. But I would say in terms of like actual skills that people could practice, and I can give people tips on how to do it. Number one is persistence. It is fucking a grind. Sometimes it's easier than others, but like I'm doing full-time YouTube. There's days where I launch a video with our team and I'm like, I'm the greatest superstar out there. And there's days like today, we put a video, no one watches it.
Right.
And it's being able to fucking go on the next day. So I say persistence. I tell people to do the coffee challenge. That's kind of what I got known for, which is go out and get rejected. You go out and ask for 10%.
Coffee challenge? So
you go out, when you get your coffee, coffee mug, and you say, when you go to Starbucks or whatever in Canada, Dunkin' Donuts or Tim Hortons, and you say, hey, I want 10% off. And you can do this when you buy anything. And they say no, or maybe they say yes. Who cares? The point is you get rejected. And that really builds up your kind of fear muscle, but also your persistence muscle. Because you're like, all right, well, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. And eventually you're like, you talk a lot, help guys with dating and advice and women. And a lot of it is like, all right, keep going. It's fine. So I think persistence, one of my favorite quotes my friend says, persistence beats resistance. So I'd say that's number one that I love. And the second thing I'd say as an entrepreneur, personally, is follow through. I can't tell you how many sales I've done in my life, and I've done millions of dollars in sales from actual sales as well as online sales, that just because of the follow-up email, follow-up call, follow-up text, follow-up WhatsApp message has closed the deal. And so many people email me and I'm sure you get emails all the fucking time. Hey, Richard, I'd love to do something with you. Never follow up. So I owe you a follow-up actually for the book notes, but it's still in my to-dos. I'm going to do it. And it's just like, you got to follow up on your things. And I think that separates a lot of winners from losers. I think losers send one Instagram DM to some girl or one message to some company they want to partner with, and they call it a day. And they're like, oh, it didn't work. It's like, did you really want it? If you want it, follow up.
I've like I mentioned, I've thought a lot about this, and I think if I were to distill it down to one thing, I would say having the ability to solve problems. Gumption's very important too, like having that grit, like you talked about. But I find that when you start up a business, it's really just a sequence of problems that you have to deal with. And if you can get good at finding solutions to problems, you can get good at business. I mean, it's the same thing with women. It's like how you were talking about the 10% rule and dealing with rejection. There's a large demographic of men out there today that don't know how to deal with rejection with women. And I mean, they would be no good at starting up a business or doing sales calls and stuff like that at the same time. But I think that's an important thing to mention too.
I like the resourcefulness one. I definitely think that's a great one.
Yeah.